Hello everyone and welcome to my new video and welcome to my new mouse cursor halo. I can't see it right now because I'm going to add it afterwards. But why does my mouse cursor have a halo? Well, because my mouse cursor is an angel now. That's not true. Basically, I've had a lot of very polite people leaving comments about how they sometimes struggle to see the mouse cursor. And whilst normally I tend to just ignore everyone's comments, when you get a comment multiple times, you start to think maybe I should pay attention and do something about that. Unfortunately, it's not possible for me to make the mouse cursor larger so that the screen capture software will see the large cursor. And also because I'm on a very large screen, I upscale Ableton to 200% so that people who are watching on a smaller screen can see everything. However, that means that the mouse cursor is very small. So I've decided to experiment with using this little white ghostly halo around the cursor. So if you like that, I would appreciate some feedback on that. And if it's irritating, then I'll stop and try and think of something else. So this is a little tryout for the mouse halo. So what is this video about? I'm going to explain the difference between clip automation and clip modulation using this filter down here as an example. Let's have a little listen. Give me my volume fader. There we go. Got my controller keyboard back out. It's got good faders for it. So, okay. So right off the bat, when we've got a clip, we can right click a parameter and we've got show automation or show modulation. So let's look at show automation first. This was a new thing that was added, I think in Live 9 or 10, whereas modulation has been there for as long as I can remember. But whilst they have similar functions, they behave slightly differently, which may be useful depending on the context of what you want to use them for. So let's look at show automation first. If we go show automation, it opens up the clip editor and you can actually see we can toggle between automation and modulation here. So let's start with automation. So I guess what I probably could do is I could maybe select a little bit here, do a little wibbly wobbly line, and then I'll duplicate that over the course of the clip and fire off the clip and we can watch the automation do its thing. There we go. This is the future of music right here. Heavily filtered wobble breaks. So the thing is, right, is that that's doing its thing and that's great. Clip automation is great. You can embed a ton of stuff in your clips and fire off a clip and get it to do all kinds of stuff. But that's now kind of locked to the clip. If we click on it at any point, the automation gets disabled. This is normal, but sometimes it might not be what you want. And you also get this orange square with an arrow up here, which basically says the automation is disabled. It's stopped. It's off. It is X automation. Press this button again to re-enable it, okay? So that might be good in some contexts to be able to fire off something and be certain that it's going to do some automation. Maybe you want to do a big sweep or you want to use it to dip the volume on a fader, for example. That's pretty good. Maybe you've got a controller like Launchpad or a push, but there's no faders so that you could just fire a clip and know that the fader will come down or something, you know. But it's tied to the clip. So if we delete that now, let's delete the automation and then do the modulation instead. So here we are in the modulation editor. So I'm going to do exactly the same type of automation or modulation, I should say. I'm just going to do these wibbles, paste them all along like this. Notice how it's blue rather than red, I think. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to make that entire automation a little bit smaller like this. So it's just kind of doing a little wibble. Oh, this is fiddly. Okay, there we go. So now let's have a look at the filter frequency. Okay, so we can see that it's moving in the background. But we actually still have control over the filter. So what we're kind of doing is we're modulating it, but we're also kind of attenuating the modulation whilst we tweak the parameter. So again, this might be useful for a different type of context. Also, if I go back and make that modulation curve wider, like this, we're going to have less room to attenuate it or boost it or whatever. So when we get to all the way up, it's just going to be going, the extra modulation is going outside. And if we go all the way down, we're going to get that. So it's kind of like you're modulating a parameter, but the parameter itself also works as a kind of offset for that modulation, which could be really, really useful. So basically, that's the difference. That's all this video is about. So, hope you enjoyed that. I don't really have anything else to say on the subject. Actually, maybe what I might just do is try and do them both at the same time. So what I might do is just do a sweep up. And, oh, it's very fiddly. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see what happens now. There we go. So I'm using the automation to do one long sweep and the modulation to do a wibble. But if at any point I click that, I lose the automation, but I still get the modulation, which I can offset manually. So there you go. That's the difference between clip automation and clip modulation. See you later.